This is some of my friends that came to our meeting, and we have some guest speakers. We have some individuals running for office. We have concerned citizens. We have issues that people would like to address and talk about it. And we've been talking for about an hour now, and it's a really good discussion when you can get people together and hash out what is important to them in their community. And this makes me feel so good because we have some people here that are going to express how they feel and let us know. Give us the truth on how you really feel about our community, especially in Santa Fe County, because this will be my first road trip, which is my county. And I'm going to be doing this all through CD3 because everybody has a concern and we need to start addressing. And as I feel is we can't always hear the answer, yes, everything's working well, because the answer is not yes. There are so many problems that it's time for us to speak out and express what our concerns are, because we're at a time in our crossroad that we need to unite, and if not, we're in trouble. So I am going to, because he's got a lot of experience.
I'm running for Santa Fe County Commissioner, District Number 4. I bring 45 years of experience in business and community service, proven track record in leadership and accomplishments with the expertise and knowledge to tackle the serious issues that we're facing here in the Santa Fe County. I started a construction company in 1980 and built it into a nice small business. I'm a first responder to the World Trade Center. I've been in Santa Fe 20 years. I have a master's degree from the University of Connecticut, public school teacher, Santa Fe High. I run a nonprofit animal rescue and sanctuary, and I'm a car guy. I'm a car builder and build hot rods, American muscle cars. My focus is on addressing the issues that we've been talking about for so long: affordable housing for critical job holders, as educators, first responders, police, firefighters, medical professionals, and county workers. We need to build affordable housing for them so they can live in our community, the community which they serve. I'm a big supporter of our first responders, police. So I'm working on public safety where we can provide the pay, the benefits, and how affordable homes for our police and firefighters and other first responders, so we can have a safe community with full complement of law enforcement, both in the city and the county. As well, I'm working to provide a care facility for our most vulnerable or drug addicted and mentally ill, where we can provide the care, mental health care, physical health care, drug rehabilitation, job training, job placement, so we can help them move back and become part of our community. I also am working to finally get a emergency management preparedness plan. This county's needed one for many, many, many years to address wildfires, natural disasters, human-made disasters, and also my platform includes how we address the environmental issues we face. Again, mitigation of wildfire, water conservation. How do we get more water here? How do we build sustainably? My years of experience.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Mascareñas, and I'm running for Santa Fe County Magistrate Court Judge. I'm a lifelong resident of Santa Fe County. I have 30 years experience in the legal field. I retired from the state of New Mexico. 9 of those years were at district court, 4 at the Supreme Court, and the remainder of the time was at the New Mexico Environment Department, where I was the chief records manager for the department, along with their appellate legal. I have a great passion for our community. I want to help. I'm retired now, and I have tons of time that I want to give back to my community. And this is how I want to give back to my community, by being a Santa Fe Magistrate Court Judge. So this position has always been known as a People's Court Judge. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago when people wanted to change it to attorneys being the magistrate court judges. And I'm here saying that we need to keep it as a people's court judge. And I would hope that all the other Democrats and people of this county feel the same way and help move me from the ballot to the bench. Primary is very important to me. I have no opposition in the general, so people need to get out and vote, and they need to get out and.
Good evening, Benito Martinez Jr., born and raised District 2, lived in District 2, 1962, and live in the district today. In addition to a dedicated, energetic style, business-minded, I bring a multitude, a variety of experience, having been elected Santa Fe County Assessor in 1998 and once again in 2002, President of the Assessors Association throughout the state of New Mexico, and subsequently President of the New Mexico Association of Counties, handling various issues, crossing both aisles in various capacities, obtaining benefits, abatement programs for seniors on low income, disabled, veterans. By the way, abatement means freezing the value on property tax so that those taxes don't increase substantially like they used to. The disclosure bill, in which I was the chief lobbyist when Speaker Lujan, God bless his soul, created an opportunity for homeowners to be protected from escalating property tax based on value. Well, there's a limitation on that now. We were successful, made it through both houses, and then the governor signed and is law today, which insulates folks that have properties that they've lived in forever. And if they don't sell them, then they're artificially insulated from increasing property tax. Veterans that are disabled, 100%, service-connected disability, 100% exemption from property tax. That was a bill that we also lobbied for and were successful on. And then veterans exemptions increased from 2 to 4,000. I have it in my blood. And I also support Tish Montoya in a big way. We go a long ways back. She's got a lot of experience in running campaigns. And I'm saying this to you publicly as a District 2 candidate. I plan to be a commissioner, and I'm behind Tish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Tish, I'm not sure, excuse me, I don't know if I said my name when I introduced it.
Go ahead.
I'm Stephen Chuley, Santa Fe County Commissioner, District Number 4. Sorry if I forgot that before. Thank you.
Does anybody out here like to introduce Glenn? Introduce yourself, Glenn, because I'd like people to know you as well. I'd like to everybody to know everybody out there, but.
My name's Glenn Weber. I'm a case manager at Consuelo's Place, which is a non-congregate shelter here in Santa Fe. I had a house in Hernandez outside of Espanola. I had a stroke about 4 years ago, and I ended up losing my business, my house. I lost everything and ended up homeless because of that. And I spent about a year on the streets figuring things out. I was in a wheelchair, I couldn't talk. I was in pretty bad shape. And I'm still struggling, but I realized how important it is to secure the good of others. That way I constantly secure my own good. It's about paying it forward. So I feel it's very important to pay it forward. And, being on the other side, I really understand there's a lot of misconceptions and things that people think that aren't accurate, stuff that and I realize how important it is for the less fortunate to have an advocate that understands that. So I have a colorful past, but I think a lot of us do. But I realize, like I say, the way I look at life is very different than it used to be. So, whether it's experiences, things like that, having health issues. I mean, a lot of that has changed my perception.
And then I'd like to thank Jeanette. And I want you to say a couple of words. So come on over here, young lady. There you are. What your concerns?
About my concerns?
Yeah, but what's your concerns that you see that's going on in our world, or, you know, everything's linked to our home base?
Well,
Santa Fe.
I'm a valley. It's been a long time, and I think I want eyes to be open and give people a second chance. Like he was saying, a lot of us, I've been homeless myself. I've had a hard time getting where I am now. I give a lot, I've helped a lot. I don't get paid back or anything, I do it because that's who I am. And I get paid by God, so as long as I get paid by him, I'm okay. And I guess I don't know what people like me have a second chance to get jobs like all you guys. I mean, give them a chance to experience what they've learned from mistakes, I guess, or lessons, should I say, not mistakes, lessons that we all have, but this is what I have.
Thank you for telling us. Thank you. Everybody's clapping on the other side. Thank you. I'd like to talk to Daniel.
Hoping to get off here in September, but I have done work with Clubhouse, like the Life Link, I ran a newsletter there. I've done a lot of hanging out there at the Clubhouse. At the Life Link, got a chance to see a lot of stuff going on in the streets, like especially the people from Pete's, they go over there a lot, so it's kind of like I got to know a lot of what was going on, but it also, you know, there's really a lot of alarming stuff. Like I said earlier, we need, I mean, like you guys said earlier, we need younger people, and I believe we need people younger than me. Which, I mean, I'm sure I can be a help in starting with that. Because I believe, you know, our youth is not being guided at all. And you know, so it's only right, like you said, Glenn, to pay it forward. Now that I've done my wrong and I've lived on the wrong side of life, now I'm alive to be able to tell people don't make that choice. I barely made it out alive. The odds are always against us, and it's just like, you know, the more help to be able to reach back to somebody and help somebody, as well as Glenn said, it does make you feel good. And it's a part of the steps as well, and helping others help yourself, you know, and as a community, I believe if we work together, we don't need as much outside assistance. We can run this city and community without those big help from the big guys outside. You know, there is a lot of stuff that's certainly like, you know, the feds have been here. There's so much stuff, like you were saying, the drugs are still being out here. They know who's doing what, and they're still allowing this to go on. And I'm like, something's got to be done. I agree. You know, there is people that want to help, and I believe we should just, you know, link up, work together.
That's true. Margie,
Probably
there's Margie right there.
everybody knows that I'm the mother to Isaiah Romero, which is the Santa Fe County Assessor, has served already a year there. Like I was saying prior today, that when my son was running, he's asking, you know, should I run? He asked my husband and I, and we told him, yes, you know, you just run. I mean, you're either gonna win or lose. And he ran unopposed at the end, and he won the position. And we've raised him as well as we could, not only by ourselves, but with God up above. We didn't raise him by ourselves, you know. And he's got a lot to do. He's the metal, like we say. But as you and I were talking the other day, Tish, is you know, when we back in the 70s, you know, we were all like a big family in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I mean, everybody knew everybody. I mean, to a point we do now still, but we don't see a lot of locals anymore. Everybody's moving out, you know, from Santa Fe. The affordability of homes is crazy. Everything's crazy as far as, you know, market. And we need to have the natives, you know, stay here. You know, and we need to come back to a tight community with all the natives that are from here, and more locals to run for office. Because you know what, the locals know Santa Fe, the city of faith.
You know, like we always used to say, we live in the city of faith, we live in the city of faith, and what is it all about? You know, and it was very important to our grandparents, great grandparents, all our families to keep everything as a family, respect everybody equally, you know, and mannerism was really big, and now the youth, it's getting away. It's getting the mannerism, the respect, everything, but we still have to continue to teach that to our grandchildren. And we have to pray every day that God puts people where he wants them to be. You know, to keep this city of faith, to keep it here, to keep it alive, to keep it fun, you know, to not forget our heritage, you know, to remember who started the faith, you know, way back in the days, before we were ever born. But that's what we have to stick together. We have to support each other. We have to be honest about everything.
Yes,
And, you know, honesty does pay,
it does.
you know, and that's what I got to say is Benito, was my son's, bosses, you know, when he was assessor, he trained him. And, he's been there over 20-some years, and I'm thankful to God that he is a leader now. And, Mike and I are really, really happy about that. We pray for him every day, that he does the right thing there, and then he, you know, he, runs an office with dignity, respect, you know, and respect for each other, and acknowledge everybody, and you know, we also believe that we don't treat people like furniture, because everybody has a soul. Amen.
Daniel.
So you're saying that talented people on probation can vote?
Yes, so the law did change last year. So anybody can register to vote. And even if you're a felon, you can vote. The only people that cannot vote nowadays is if you are incarcerated, meaning you are in a jail or in a prison. But even if you're on probation, you can still vote. And if you have not yet registered to vote for this election, you can go to like early voting. And as long as you have an ID saying that you belong in Santa Fe County, they will get you registered and you will be given a ballot to vote. And that's very important. That's a
Very good for a lot more of us to know that.
Yes.
I even like to be kind of kid for getting that out there, but there is something else with that. To let more people know would be great to do, because there's a lot of us.
I'm gonna give you my contact number. I'm even a voter registrar. I can get people voted. I have a team of people that are willing to help with rides or whatever, and we can get this done. So before the night is over, I'll get your contact information.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
And another thing that,
Publicized.
yes,
Yeah.
and another thing that's happening, you know, a lot of our homeless population, they don't have an address. So I guess things have changed. You can now use like Pete's Place, sorry. I knew it as that.
Yeah.
It used to be, well, it used to be the general store in my day. We used to go get concert tickets, but so I'm that old, right? So they have an address there that you can use and get mail, and I guess they distribute mail there. So that's the address portion of this whole thing. Okay.
So Glenn, why don't you give her your information too, because you work at the shelter and we can get some of the homeless people registered, because that's
Oh,
their,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
At Sweller's place, they can use that address.
So that's
Okay.
my old college place. I have a degree from the College of Santa Fe.
Also with the perspective, so
Yeah.
their address also, so they also.
So what we could probably do is get her hooked up with all those different groups that you guys, because you guys are already involved with them, that to get her hooked up with them so that she can start getting her group to register people to vote. And, you know, because this is the time, I mean, you guys, this is an open window. You got to get out to vote. I tell everybody, because if we lose our democracy, we're in trouble. So I would like to now, Janet.
Okay, I'm just a concerned citizen, backing her up. I do have a voice. I do speak to everybody and treat everybody the same. Grew up in the 70s, used to fight for our rights. I don't know if she remembers that, but don't unseen, we were teenagers in that bus. And it was just, it worked. They got together. What you guys are doing right now, and they fought, went to the city council and they won. Because they were running out the people from other states. It was terrible. They were trying to run us out. It broke my heart as a teenager, and I'm like, wait a minute, we all love each other. So that's how I've always been involved in listening to everyone, everybody in every color. But I did ask around city workers, and I asked them what they would ask. First of all, the homeless. It's getting really insane, sadly. I don't know what the answer is, but they're worried about them getting rehab. They need rehab. They need to be out. And they know that. It's an ending battle with drugs, and my neighborhood has gone downhill, totally gone downhill. It's on the west side. I have them around 3 parks, and I take jobs walking around those parks. I never see any police, ever. I go on Facebook and then women are putting up, watch this vehicle, watch, and that's so awful. Because I see them in my neighborhood, those vehicles are in my neighborhood. So now I'm aware of it. The other question was, people were concerned about was cannabis. They're making a fortune. They should be giving a stimulus. What happened to the stimulus, helping the people being that they're making a fortune of money? Where's all this money? That's the biggest concern right now. They could be doing so much to this town. It's a tourist town.
Mhm.
I wouldn't come to the town if it was Surreal's Road the way it is. I almost kill people all the time. I mean, I'm like, what? It scares me. I don't want to hurt anyone, not even a cat or a dog, much as a human being. Conserving water, the construction, all this construction is going on, and we're living in dirt. Dirt, the water is so precious, and we're sharing it with what, Texas? Or we sold it to Texas? What was the case there? There's so many concerns, but it's all these people, and I talk to everyone.
She does.
Ask her, I do. I love everybody, and I talk to them, and I listen, because everybody needs help. Every human being needs help. And we're here to help each other. That's what I learned in the 70s.
Hey, Tish,
Oh,
can I address just the public safety stuff?
sure.
We've have an unfortunate failure in both local and county government who has turned a blind eye to the people who are the most vulnerable on our streets. One of the reasons why I am running for County Commissioner District number 4 is that we need to find a way to help these folks and address the issues that they're dealing with. One of my proposals is to build a care facility where we can relocate these less fortunate, vulnerable people to a place where they can have safe housing, drug rehabilitation, mental health care, physical health care, job training, so we can help them come back into the community. And the other side of that, you're talking about not having police. The city and the county seem to have worked in the direct opposite direction. I'm endorsing the sheriff. I work with, as a first responder, I've worked with a lot of these folks. They seem to go out of the way to not fund our police. As county commissioner, we will find a way to support our most vulnerable and get them the help they need, and work with the groups that we're talking about. And we will absolutely find a way to pay, give the benefits and affordable homes to our first responders so they can keep our communities safe. And I think that's something that I know Benito and I have talked about. I think we need to have commissioners that are going to do that type of work. It's not easy work. But we've had enough time where people are unwilling to make the hard decisions, and we need to get our communities back and provide safety for both the people who are suffering and living on our streets and the people who live here, pay the taxes, or come here and visit. So we all have a safe community to live in. I appreciate that question.
Well, I have people moving out of my neighborhood that moved in, they're not from here, and they're most welcome in the neighborhood. But they call it.
Yeah, well,
Being disturbance, nothing happened, so they packed up in there, they lost so much money by it. That's the worst part.
we have, again, local government has not provided support for our men and women, the true heroes that are in our communities, our police officers and our deputies. And we have a DA who thinks it's better and more important to protect the drug dealers who are murdering our brothers and sisters every day and blaming the police as the police are the problem. And I don't believe that. I think our police are our heroes. They're not all good. They're bad apples everywhere. And they know that, and they usually police themselves out. But we need to find a way to restore order here, protect the people who are being preyed upon, and put the people who are murdering our brothers and sisters. Thank you.
No, I'm not against the police.
No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you are. I wasn't suggesting that. I'm suggesting that we've had a community, we've had local government who seems to be. So, you know.
Well, I had the neighbor tell me, she's a nurse. They witnessed a girl getting beat on the street. They called the police. See, they're afraid of certain streets in the neighborhood.
I know.
That's the way I see it.
And they're understaffed. They're 25% understaffed.
Well, wait a minute,
it's
there's a
tough.
crazy guy in the neighborhood.
No,
All
I
30
know.
cops showed up and stood around him. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
the guy inside the business you need, not this guy. It was,
Yeah.
they wanted the crazy guy out of the business because he was stopping the drug deal.
I want to say for some of that, like that, that's what I want. Those workers that work with all these homeless people, they need to get some help, support,
Yeah.
because they're
Absolutely.
risking their lives and I don't know if all of them have degrees or all of them have what they need, but they need help, not just the officers or all this, they all need help because they're risking their lives with all kinds of different mental illness. Anything you can think of that's out there, they're all working with them and they're risking their lives and they have families too and I think everybody needs to stick as one, become one.
Well, these two gentlemen here too are really every day going out there and doing great service that we need in our community. And for some reason, they're not being recognized. They're being marginalized, and instead of helping, it seems like there's parts of our community that just are standing in the way. So we do need to work as a team. We do need to work with the NGOs and the people who are on the ground working every day. And we need to find a way to mitigate the drugs that are flowing freely through our city right now and help the people who are suffering with addiction and mental illness. So it has to be a collaborative effort. It has to be all of us working. It has to be where we support our folks like these gentlemen here who are doing the hard work to support our first responders, so we can really improve our community and help the folks that really need our help.
Yeah.
Okay, Cordy's got to go, but I want her to say a few words. Where are you, Cordy? There you are.
I'm here for all Democrats that are running for office, maybe local Democrats. The Democratic Party in Santa Fe County, and I can each and everybody, young and old, to come in and join the party and help us out with making sure that we do get Democrats elected this election. And we're the Hispanic caucuses and a lot of northern Santa Fe County and northern people that are joining, and we want to help everybody to get involved, get everybody involved, especially those that are local, and support them.
Thank you, Cordy.
Your turn.
Well, unlike all of you,
I guess I'm the problem. I moved here 2 years ago. I've driven up real estate prices. And I have not been here long enough to give anybody advice on what the real problems are here, much less what the real solutions are. But I will say this, I've been involved in politics for 65 years. I first canvassed for Jack Kennedy in 1960. Gives you some sense of that. And I've worked in campaigns in over the states, managed campaigns. I've managed parts of campaigns at all levels, statewide, local. And the last 10 years, when I decided I didn't want to work 100 hours a week anymore, I became one of those feared political consultants because I didn't want to work that hard to manage a campaign anymore. And so, as I've listened to candidates here, it's different here than other places I've been. I don't want to tell people how to do their business, but I will share two thoughts, and then I'll shut up. Everywhere that I have worked, candidates who win do two things. They listen to the voters, and they don't spend their time talking about themselves. They can say, I've been out there, this is what you're telling me, this is what the problem, not what I think the problem is. You tell me this is the problem. Oh, good news. I want to work with you on that. We can do it. It's not you can do it. It's not we. If you get the conversation from I and you to we, you're 80% of the way there. That's number one. Number two, ask for the vote. I've been amazed to listen to candidates here in Santa Fe who do their 3-minute speech and never ask for my vote. Now, I'm not one of those snotty people who say, you didn't ask for my vote, so I won't vote for you. But I urge you, take the 5 seconds at the end of your speech and ask for a vote. It doesn't hurt. It actually makes a difference everywhere I've worked, and I encourage you to do it.
Good job. That's,
Yeah, thank
you know what? That is like the best advice ever because I never hear a candidate ask for their
I
vote.
did.
you.
I know. Okay.
I did well.
She's like, don't include me in that one.
Well, this is the next.
But that's,
Oh.
good. I am so glad for your advice because it helps to hear everybody's opinion because you know what? I mean, you explained two things to me, which are very important, but a lot of people have been asking me too, is like, how come we don't have open primaries? Why can't we just pick the person we want? And so I tell them that's when you got to go to your county clerk and your secretary of state to start working on lobbying.
Legislature.
Yes, lobbying on that issue. And so, I mean, there's a lot of education. There's a lot that we need to teach people.
Yeah.
We have, and that's the key component is that if we don't teach people that, like for felons, they can vote as long as they've done all their work. They can go back. They can vote. But
You
that
can
hasn't.
vote while you're on probation. The
Yeah.
only people that cannot vote nowadays, a lot changed last year, is a person that's incarcerated, meaning in the state penitentiary or in a jail cell.
Can't vote.
You can, a halfway house, whatever, their rights were restored.
Okay. Do they need to make sure they have like a driver's license?
Well, you
What do
have
they?
to have some type of identification that says you are that person and you're voting in this county, you know what I mean? I can't just show up in Albuquerque and say I'm here to vote without any kind of credential. You have to have an ID or whatever with an address. But like I said, what's happening for people that are homeless and that, they were able to, I guess the Secretary of State's office, they were able to get them the credential of using Pete's Place and other organizations, other housing organizations. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Get them on the ballot. So I would assume that maybe they take some type of a credential saying I'm at this place living and they get an ID or actually I think when you go in to vote, because now you can even, as long as you have not declared a declared a party, either a major party, day of voting, you can go in and you can register to vote. And I guess
all
if
they
you
need
bring
is their
that
ID?
credential in, they'll sign you up to vote.
Okay, because I know that that Pete's Place, from my understanding, they get people like what happens is a lot of people lose their documentation, and I know Pete's Place helps them regain it and get it all back.
Yeah, we do it as well as place.
So-
We, whatever's required, we make that happen.
Okay,
That's
so
our top priority. Somebody walks through.
So that they can get their medication, they can get, seen by a doctor and their benefits and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that that's critical in talking. I mean, I've been on the ground working with different types of people. And that's what they say. You have to, it's very easy for somebody to be holding a sign, I need help or whatever. And people roll down their windows, get a job, there's wanted signs everywhere. Well, first of all, you cannot go in and get a job if you don't have an ID. You cannot get an ID if you don't have an address. There's different steps that you have to take. It's very easy to be yelling, get a job, when they cannot get a job. Right now, they're just trying to get food in their belly. You know what I mean? And that's where compassion comes in. Okay, yeah, you have to follow the law and there's rules, and I totally understand that. But especially as a magistrate court judge, you have to have compassion. It's a lower level court. I'm not, doing death penalty cases or anything like that. And you have to have compassion. So a guy comes in because he's shoplifting. I say, yes, it's wrong, and it is against the law to shoplift, right? But why is he shoplifting? Is he shoplifting because it's fun? It's a thrill? Is he shoplifting because he's starving to death and he doesn't know where there's places to go get food? I would think as a magistrate court judge, you can hand him a little card and say, you can get food at the food depot, at Buenvenidos. There's many places that you can get food if that's what you want. Stuff like that. I honestly believe that you need to help people.
yes. There's other countries that they have your whatever drug that you're doing and the medication, and they watch you, and then you leave, and then you're out and you go work, but you have a routine.
They've experimented with that in Portland and New York. So they have experimented, and the advantage of the safe use space, nobody has ever died. There's never been an overdose.
Because can I tell you something, what I've heard? Because I with what I do for a living, I'm out also within the community, but I heard something so this past week, homies that were laying out for weeks in fields, and nobody picked up these bodies. They just let them to rot. So, I mean, like,
There's a lot of cover up. There's a lot of cover up.
They every winter they have a memorial for the homeless people who passed away. Last year, 32 homeless people died.
Nobody claims them.
Yeah.
Nobody claims them.
Tish,
Pick them
may
up daily,
go ahead.
actually.
I say something?
Yeah, go
I'm
for it.
sorry, I have
No.
an animal rescue and I actually have to go take care of some
Okay.
animals. So I really do appreciate all you do.
Well, explain to us, like this issue we're talking about now with the homeless, because you'll be a
Yeah, no,
commissioner.
again, the care facility is a matter of public safety for all concerned. It's not just cleaning up our streets. It's the folks that are struggling with mental drug addiction, unhoused or homelessness. We can do better as a community, and by investing into a care facility where they receive the care that they need, and we certainly can do, will benefit them and benefit the community as a whole as we bring them back into community to become productive citizens in our community. And again, you were talking about drug dealers on our streets. The police know who they are. And unfortunately, we have a DA who doesn't want to prosecute them. And we're really struggling with the fact that they go to Pete's, they go to these other places. They know they may not be inside, but they stand right outside and they say, windows open. And we need to stop that. I mean, it's a scourge on our society, and it's yeah.
They're not allowing them to panhandle more, they're not allowing them to do a lot of things in this stuff.
Well, something has to happen, or we're going to continue. At one point 5 years ago, it was about 150 people. Now it's 2,000.
But what happens if so how are they going to get their resources? I mean, the panhandling I know is not a good thing, but I mean, is there a way people can donate money to a certain fund where they have because they need certain stuff. They need stuff. They need.
But a care facility will provide that. Now you'll have a safe place, dormitory, not a gymnasium. You'll have, a commissary, be able to eat. You'll be able to get your physical health care, your mental health care. You'll be getting drug rehabilitation. You'll be getting job training, and their costs of living will be mostly subsidized. So they won't need to be going out and panhandling. They'll be there, and they'll have an opportunity to job train and become and job.
Well, even with Section 8, it's taking how long? 8?
It's 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I mean,
It's
what other options are there?
Leadership in government.
Yeah,
You need people there and lead.
Everywhere. Buildings, but nobody can afford the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, but the county, we're in a really unique place that there's a lot of money in this community.
I like where he's going with the police and the resources, because if we don't do both at the same time, they're gonna cancel each other out like they are canceling each other out right now. Because the resources are out here, but the police aren't stopping the drug dealers from more mayhem. They're just letting it happen. The resources have built up and they're getting stronger, but the dealers are just they're panhandling.
Yeah.
To get high. They're just most of them
And-
panhandling to get high.
And we can't arrest our way out of mental health and drug addiction. There's unfortunately, we have folks that end up in the detention center and they're overdosing, and the police aren't trained to do that. We have professionals. These two gentlemen here, these are people who know how to handle that stuff and know how to work. We can't do nothing, and we can't arrest our way out of it. This is an approach, and I was listening to you. I spent 8-9 months listening to people. That's how I came up with my thing. And actually, I spent all 20 years of me being in Santa Fe listening to people, and that's how I have lived my life. And that's how I came up with this, four pieces of my platform. Now there's other pieces that can be worked in there, but I think these 4 main pieces address the most that we're focusing or experiencing. But it's unfortunate that we've allowed our local government or county government just to close their eyes to the problems we have. I spoke to one of our commissioners and I said to her, what are you going to do about homeless? What are you going to do about drug addiction? What are you going to do about crime? She said, oh, we have a crime problem. I mean, there's something disconnected when our government officials have no clue what's going on.
I talked to a lady at a Canyon Road gallery.
Yeah.
She worked at a gallery. She had no clue there was homeless shelters in Santa Fe.
Yeah, no, there's a disconnect.
But let me
Between-
tell you one
That
thing,
she's never been.
Yeah. No, there's a
she's never
disconnect.
been out of that little bubble.
That's right.
but let those people that are living in tents go
Exactly.
east side.
Move them in.
to the east side.
They'll complain.
All the police will be there.
Yeah.
The
that's right.
police will be
We'd have
there
police
and it'll
resources.
get cleaned out immediately. It will. Go try to set up a tent on the plaza and see where that gets you.
That's right. That's right.
You'll be
But that's, I mean, there's a huge disconnect.
There is.
Um,
Can I ask something?
Sure.
Have you guys ever gone into the facilities like RAP or where he works, like to explain like what their needs are or what they all think they need? Like, I mean, you're talking good ideas about this hospital, whatever.
Well,
So I take,
Yeah, care for someone.
I take food on a monthly basis to Pete's and to the Espanola place. I take now what's going on in Espanola, is female hygiene packs.
Right,
For the night.
that's right.
So that was my last thing was that. And then, in order for people to clean up, so now they moved them from by Walmart, the, yeah, the Santa Clara part of it, the Pueblo said you are not to be there anymore. So the city of Espanola moved the tent city by the river. So in order for them to keep their little area clean and stuff like that, one of the social workers there told me the best thing to do is buy $25 like gift cards,
Right.
shopping carts for them. And then if they keep their little area clean for, you know, a week or whatever, it's an incentive for them to get what they want with their $25. Plus then it curtails the shoplifting thing. So we provided $600 of $5 cards for them to do that. And I guess it's working because she hasn't called me back and said our plan didn't work.
Like you said, it's just that little bit of stability that they need, that someone believes in them themselves.
I mean, one of the biggest things with dealing with that population is to meet them where they're at and have compassion,
Sure, absolutely.
you know, I mean.
Well, you know,
Because they're struggling and it's meeting them where they're at, you know, and, you know, that's trauma informed, you know, it's like that understanding what they're going through.
and you know,
Like having compassion, realizing everybody's going through different circumstances, different situations, and they're dealing with different problems. But it's having compassion for that.
and I think what's important is that I'm not advocating the police going into Pete's and, you know, physically, you know, I'm saying, excuse me, the city actually has an alternative response unit, which I've worked with, where it's a social worker, it's a mental health person, there is a peace officer there because some people get violent. But instead of confronting them as, okay, we're gonna, you know, tackle you and put cuffs on you, we're coming in compassionate. And I think that's how you start relocating people to the getting of the care that they need.
They've been doing that model in Aurora, Colorado for about 15 years.
Yeah, they do it. They do it a lot of
That's where
places.
that idea for the ARD came from.
Yeah, the care facility is not my idea. It's been even in Albuquerque, but 10 or so years ago, the city passed an ordinance to build a care facility, and the county killed it. The county commissioners, which two of them are sitting on the commission right now, have killed it because they said, we don't want it in the middle of the city. They pushed it out towards the airport. And the NGOs, who I've spoken with, said, what else to do? Bust them out there? Well, my belief, look, my district deals with or has Kmart in it. Kmart's been empty for years. Now, FEMA's in there right now, but at the end of the day, there's an erect building that can be easily renovated and retrofit. And that's where these folks are. I go in every morning to feed animals, and every morning I see them, and they're all in that area, right? There's Pete's, there's the Santa Fe Art Institute, the Midtown campus.
Those places are right.
Yeah, so it's there, and now it's not busting them; it's moving them, and now they're not being stuck into a back of a squad car. They're being humanely, and we can now hear them. And I was answering your question also. I try to speak to people as much as I can. I even talk to people, not that it makes me holier than thou, but I was talking to a young lady yesterday, the day before, and she was panhandling on the corner, and I started talking to her. And she introduced me to her dog, and we were talking about different things. And I was like, what do that? She's like, well, I got stuck doing this. I lost a job. Next thing I know, here I am. She has no teeth, and she's physically beaten down because you're on the street. So there's a lot of great people like you out there doing the work that we need in this city, in this county. We need our officials, our government to step up and say, you know, I'm very conservative when it comes to spending money. I don't believe in just going crazy willy-nilly. A lot of elected officials, they get, you know, they look $500 million budget we have. Oh, wow, let's party, you know, let's go to Tahiti. The bottom line is we can make smart investments where they're less, if you spend a certain amount of money to build a care facility, the building of the facility is one thing, operating is a different thing. That can become a normal, budget item. The building of the facility is just, there's your head. So why not take the $8 or $9 billion we have in this state right now, that's surplus? Why not take some of that? Why not and invest in our communities and make them, better for all?
The New Mexico Coalition to End Homelessness does every year they put out a comprehensive report.
Right.
On all statistics, how many people are homeless, what it would take to house them. I highly recommend you read it.
Yeah, good.
So there's a lot of good information in it. It's a book. I mean, it's very comprehensive. And I know a lot of, they put a lot into it over the past couple of years, but it's real interesting. There's a lot of information there. But it's about creating care, housing, all that stuff, medical, dental, all that stuff.
Well, one of my forums, and I've done, probably hundreds of these now. One of the person came up to me and said, well, what do you know about drug addiction and homelessness and mental illness? And I said, well, I mean, I have it in my family, which is, unfortunately, and I had to deal with that. But I'm not I'm an expert in.
Nobody is.
But you certainly are far more experienced than I am. But the nice thing is that if I can help by facilitating and getting the funds, getting the resources, getting the folks in there, it helps people like you who are the experts. The question this person asked me after was, well, how are you going to house them? I said, well, that's why I have the affordable housing for these folks, because you have to this holistically. You have to look at all the pieces and say, how do we make this work? And working with folks like yourself has been so eye-opening to me, because I'm not an expert, but I'm learning every day. And if I can help all of the great groups out there that are doing the hard work that you're doing, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running. I'm really, I'm frustrated. It's
eye-opening.
It is.
Well, and you know what? This is like a very important issue, because I can see the homeless, they're starting to get stronger because they're conjugating into groups now.
Yeah.
And even one homeless person told me they're even afraid to be out there, because you have different categories of homelessness, and they're not all the same. And but that's one issue. And then also in our cities, water is another issue, because we're building, and I went to a meeting at City Hall for water, and I know that they showed me a pie chart and all kinds of beautiful stuff, but the key component there is that there's so many structures going up, that water really going to be sustainable for the future? And then we're dealing with where that water goes to. It goes to the solid, or it goes to the sewer, and our sewer system is ready to explode because it's 50 years old. And we need to, and we talk about how we're going to fix that. They want to hodgepodge. Back in the day, you build one thing and you add something else. If you're going to do a facility, do it all completely together, because at least it's all working as one, and it's gonna work, versus hodgepodging it. And so, so it's water. Right now, I look at the economy, I look at the prices of everything that's gone up, and I look at we're gonna have more homeless people. I hate to say that because people aren't gonna be able to pay their bills.
They're already not.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna happen. We're gonna have more homeless people. We're gonna have more vacant houses. I mean, we're in a time that it's bad.
Yeah.
And we need
It's
to know
like
it's
the
bad.
Janet said, you're like, in the, where she is at, and my family is at, you can't. Most people are selling out, which they can do the same thing, go borrow a loan and put,
But
that's your money in your family.
They're
not-
selling out, but where are they going? They're going back home.
No, they're going out of town.
Oh, they're going out of town.
They're moving on the little towns that are bankrupt.
Yeah, but the thing is, why do they have to leave? Why
That's what I'm
does
saying.
anybody have to leave? You know, what is, we as a community, we could come up with the answer. We really can. And it's like, like right now, we're sitting amongst people that brought up issues and problems and all that stuff. But we as a team can move it together. Like, for example, Stephen had said about Glenn, you know, maybe we need something for them in a different location, because it doesn't have to be there. We could put it in another open space. Thing is, like, yeah.
It is not big enough for $2.
but the thing is, every open space that we're having in Santa Fe, we're trying to fill it in with something. So why don't we fill it in with something that's important to us? Why don't we buy the land to build some small homes and put a facility there to have where it has, they can do some farming, they can produce their own food, yes. Why can't we do that here?
So Consuelo's place, a lot of the clients there were victimized at Pete's place.
Yeah. Heard that
So,
too.
you know,
Yeah, I've heard that.
there's a lot of elderly, a lot of disabled, a lot of LGBTQ. I mean, they were victimized at congregate shelters like, St. Elizabeth's and Pete's place. And, so we've created a place where that doesn't happen.
Safe environment.
It's, and we have a lot of mothers with children. So I think, and that's, I mean, what we have going on over there is beautiful. Because, you know, once somebody gets over there, they thrive. And it's a matter of, aggressive case management. It's
Right.
like, we start opening them up with resources.
That's right.
And making sure that, and follow through, and making sure we walk them through the steps. And I mean, right, at any given time, we have about 85 clients over there. There's only 3 case managers, me and 2 others. So it's
You got a handful.
it's a lot of work. But I mean, what we have going over there is, and it's kind of isolated, so not in the beach. You know, it's right on Cerritos, so it's got a lot of issues and a lot of the NIMBY issues, you know, not in my backyard.
That's right.
And I see the difference between Pete's and your location, because your guys are very structured and they have a responsibility
Well,
to
and
even
that's the
enter
thing,
in those
is we
doors.
aggressively case managed them. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, they know how important it is and how hard it was to get a place there. Once they get there, they appreciate it. And as long as they meet with a case manager multiple times a week until they get on their feet, and then we start moving it forward. It's not an easy process, and there's no 2 clients alike. Everybody, I mean, every person has completely different needs. Like I said, I mean, I've learned so much working in that field. I never knew, I mean, and I know if you didn't work in that field and have interaction with the clients on a daily basis, you never know that happens. I mean, I didn't until I worked in that.
Exactly. You know, and that's why I'm glad that we had this open discussion, because you know what? We're 2 different people.
Yeah, sure.
So it's like to understand our thoughts, our feelings, and what we want to do. And it feels like everybody in this room wants to be a part of making positive change, from its homeless to water to affordable housing to the police to everything in general. That if that's important to us here, it's very important to everybody out there.